Welcome back to Sliver and Bite TV. Today we're making lemon chicken. Another Aussie favourite for Chinese takeaway, and another addition to the basic white bee Chinese takeaway order playlist. Let's start by butterflying our chicken breast and velveting. So in order to velvet, you will be sprinkling some baking soda over the chicken and leaving it in the fridge for half an hour while you prepare the rest of your dish. You'll see that I've just cut off the tenderloin and I'm just tidying up the corner of the chicken there. And you'll see that I cut lengthwise down 3/4 of the way through. And when you lay it out flat, it looks like a butterfly spreading its wings. You'll see that I put a little bit of baking soda on and then flip it over. Try to evenly distribute the baking soda on all pieces of chicken. And cover with cling film and in the fridge for no longer than 30 minutes. Now we will start to prepare our lemon sauce, and you'll do this 3/4 of the way and then we'll put it back on the heat a little later on. So we're putting in some fresh squeezed lemon juice, some chicken stock, some unsalted butter, and a little secret weapon, some pineapple juice. You can add in the caster sugar, and a little pinch of salt. You can also use salted butter and then just omit the salt. And then whisk to start combining that together. You put this on a low heat. We don't necessarily need to bring this to the boil just yet. I'm going to start preparing the slurry, and this is just some water with some corn flour, and this will help thicken the lemon sauce. And can we just marvel all of the yellow ingredients for this recipe? It looks so cool. Now you can see that the butter has completely melted and you're starting to get a bit of steam. So now we can put in the optional lemon rind. This aids in intensifying the taste. Another little secret weapon is some finely grated ginger. Not only tastes amazing, but makes the whole dish and the house smell absolutely divine. So on a medium heat now, we're going to bring this to a rolling simmer because we're going to reduce this down so it's a little thicker. And ensure that you intermittently give that a good whisk and stir. Putting in a little bit of the slurry now, just to aid in thickening that up as it's reducing down. The lemon sauce was still quite runny, so I put in the rest of the slurry. It's good to monitor it and only put half in, because if you put it all in, it's very hard to go backwards. You can add a little more water, but then you're diluting the taste. So it's best just to put half in, and then you can always put more in. Now we're going to prepare our fry station, and just removing the chicken from the fridge and adding some water over that to wash off the baking soda. And placing on some paper towel just to dry it off. You'll see that I run my hand over it just to remove as much water as I can. And you'll see that I'm going in for a second pat down. It's best to have the chicken as dry as you can, because once you put it in the batter, essentially you are steaming the chicken. And if there's too much moisture inside that batter once it's fried, once it comes to room temperature and you put it in the fridge, the batter will go very soggy. Placing the self-raising flour and the corn flour into a bowl, and pouring some vegetable oil into the fry pan. You're shallow frying, so it doesn't need to be too deep. It just needs to go halfway up the chicken essentially. Mixing in the cold soda water to the self-raising flour and corn flour mix. You may need a little bit more soda water. You can see I'm just adding some in now if it's too thick. But you don't want the batter to be too thin, because you don't want it to completely run off when you're letting it drip in that bowl before putting it into the fry pan. Ensure you have a wire rack so you can drain your chicken once it's off the fryer. And make sure you've got a tray underneath it just to catch any drips. And also, for peace of mind, you can always put the oven on at this point to 120 degrees just to continue cooking it that little bit more if you're worried about raw chicken. So place 2 or 3 pieces of chicken into the batter and completely cover it before then carefully dropping it into the oil, which is roughly 160 to 180 degrees. You'll see that I put a little drop of batter in there just to make sure that it was hot enough, and it wasn't, so I've just put it to a high temperature just to make sure that you've got a decent crust forming as soon as you drop it into that oil. You'll see that I've got a few little bits. They're always good to dip into the sauce just to make sure that it tastes amazing. You don't want to overcrowd the fry pan, so 2 to 3 pieces is enough at one time, and roughly 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You'll see that I'm using 2 different pairs of tongs because you don't want to handle the cooked chicken with the tongs that have touched the raw chicken. Even if you are satisfied with the fry and confident that the chicken is cooked all the way through, it is nice to put the chicken, once out of the fryer, into the oven to keep warm while you finish off the sauce and prepare the rest of the dish. Now it's time to reheat the lemon sauce and continue reducing that down just a little bit further. And I am cutting some thin lemon slices for the garnish. You can have the lemon sauce to whatever consistency you like. It usually is served on the thicker side. However, I like mine just a little bit runnier, and as it cools, it tends to thicken up anyway. I've just removed a few of the chicken breasts from the oven, and I'm going to cut into thin slices, ready to place on a bed of rice. It's so nostalgic plating up this dish like they do in the Chinese restaurants. So many fond memories dining with family and friends. Placing on a few of the lemon slices and then spooning on some of that fantastic lemon sauce, which really makes this dish. And to complete the dish, a little sprinkle of sesame seeds. And as you see, I can't wait. You can see my chopsticks going in for the first bite and the second bite. There you have it, lemon chicken, just like the Chinese restaurants. Thank you for cooking with me once again. We'll see you again soon.